Hi, I'm Jennifer. Welcome to Orton Gillingham Coaching. In phonics, we hear the terms encoding and decoding frequently, and today I'd like to shine a light on what those terms are and activities we could do with each. First, let's talk about encoding. You can think of encoding as spelling or writing words. It's the process of converting spoken words into written form. So it's the auditory portion. It's hearing it and writing it down. Let's put this in more simple terms. Let's compare encoding to building a structure with building blocks. And so imagine you have a set of building blocks where each block represents a sound. Encoding is like using those blocks to build a structure. In this case, the structure is a word. Just as you need to select the right blocks to build your structure, you need to select the right sounds to build a word. Each letter block you add brings you closer to building the word. What are some activities we could do to reinforce encoding? The first activity I recommend is phonemic awareness, and I have a whole chart on my blog under the free section where it has all these activities of phonemic awareness. These are hearing it exercises. Some examples off of this chart might be to ask for rhyming words. What rhymes with sun? Fun. Then you might segment sounds like it. What do you hear? Sit. Then you can do the opposite. I'm going to give you the word dim. Now tell me what sounds are in it. D, I, m. This chart will have a lot of exercises you could do for phonemic awareness with your students. Another exercise for encoding is good old-fashioned dictation. It could be any lesson you're doing, but dictation is encoding. It's asking them to hear it and write down what you're saying. It could be phrases, sentences, words. Start simple and get harder and harder as your lessons go. Another exercise is practicing spelling patterns. You introduce common spelling patterns and have students practice writing words that adhere to those patterns. This actually is with all things in Orton Gillingham. You know, when you're introducing the floss rule and you start having spelling patterns, that's spelling patterns, all rabbit words, all candy words, these are all spelling patterns. You're asking them to recognize the pattern and spell it. So you're reinforcing when you give them in groups the spelling pattern. If you start dictating words, let's say you have puzzle words and table words. You've already covered both of those. Puzzle words are going to be a closed syllable with the consonant LE, and table words are going to be an open syllable with a consonant LE pattern. So let's say you're dictating table, baffle, and you're going through and you're just dictating words. Now they would have obviously already had all this, seen the words, and then you're dictating when it's the proper time. But it's having groups of words. Same with floss. You wouldn't start dictating them until they've seen a big group of floss words. And then, you know, you have all of your short vowel rules. Then you're grouping those together. It's cumulative. It's building on one another. So another exercise for encoding could be using sandpaper letters or shaving cream. And you say the word dig, and then they say ig while they're tracing it. So they're saying the name out loud, they're saying the letter sound out loud while tracing it. This actually does do the multisensory. So another exercise is incorporating rhythm or sound into the spelling process. You can incorporate rhythm into the spelling process by clapping out beats as they spell a word. It could be syllables or sounds. A lot of people do it here. At, so they hear it. At. Now let's explore decoding. Decoding you can think of as sounding out or reading words. It's the process of translating the written words into spoken words. It involves recognizing the letters, knowing the sounds they make, and then blending those to form words. You're reading them. Putting decoding into a more simple terms. Decoding is like solving a jigsaw puzzle where the task is to put the pieces together to form in a picture, which in this case would be a word. You might have a piece in the shape of a B, the sound of a B, and another in the shape of at. And when they connect the two pieces, they get the word bat. And just like a puzzle, sometimes you might have the wrong fit. You can't fit them together correctly. And an example of that might be putting a k sound in front of the word at, cat, and using a K by mistake. They both make the sound k, but because your spelling tells you to use a C, because cat is spelled with a C, that's how you know the word is cat. Decoding involves using knowledge of how letters and sounds fit together to build words. So it's about recognizing patterns, like you recognize puzzle pieces, and applying these patterns to form complete words. Let's talk about some decoding activities we can do. One that's real simple is just mark the vowel. get them used to recognizing short vowel, long vowel. So this is from Workbook 1 in the Workbook 1 and 2 series. This one has marked the short vowel. This is one where we're teaching the magic E syllable type, and so we have them mark the long vowel. This one is from Scope and Sequence 1. You can have them go through these cards and mark the short vowel. You can also have them read these. This has multiple uses, but something I like to do with them is tell them to go mark the short vowel as part of an exercise with these. And there are multiple cards like this in Scope and Sequence Workbook 1 where once you get the long, you can do it. You can even cut these out and have them go mark them long or short and mix them up. Another exercise you could do is have students segment out sounds. So you have the word d, ig, dig, and you have them pull out the cards, d, ig, dig. This is another example where they can trace d, ig, and say it out loud. So this is multisensory, the auditory, visual, and writing it, and kinesthetic. Syllable types is another type of decoding. It's based on our Revloc system of syllables, the R-controlled, magic E, vowel teams, consonant LE, open and closed. There's a lot of information on Revloc, but we would do a million exercises with syllable types, and that's all decoding. This is just one example. Again, Workbook 1, Scope and Sequence. You have cards, you show them, build words, build syllables, put them together, do all kinds of things, but in every syllable type, all kinds of exercises. But syllable types is decoding. You're having them learn to construct words from syllable types, and that's a decoding exercise. Then we have syllable division, which is the very definition of decoding. You know, you're going to take words, big words, break them down into syllables, and then read the 2 syllables or however many syllables. This is just an example of VCCV, rabbit words. Then we have reptile words, we have table words and puzzle words. These are all from my Scope and Sequence Workbook 1. Just know that syllable division is the very definition of decoding. It's what you're doing. So lots of exercises on that. Then we have word sorts, having students sort words based on common phonetic features. I'm going to use candy as an example because this is a VCCV pattern where all of the ending syllable is going to be a Y that says E. So this is just one example, but this is a key to Orton Gillingham. We're introducing words that are grouped together, you know, over and over and over again, and that's how we get repetition and categorizing and rules around everything. And like I said, this just happens to be candy words, but that's what it is. It's words based on phonetic features that go together. As a final word, decoding and encoding are complementary skills. For example, when a student's learning a new phoneme sound, they will also write it and say it. So they're learning the auditory portion, but they're also learning the kinesthetic portion as well as the visual. The emphasis on encoding versus decoding might shift some though, depending on a student's needs. For example, a student might need more focus on decoding to improve reading fluency. They might need to break down words better and improve their fluency, while others might require more practice with encoding to enhance their spelling and their writing skills. So the beauty is that Orton Gillingham is meant to be flexible and adaptive, so you can tailor your lesson plan to what a student might need more of. Thank you for joining me today. Please be sure to like and subscribe and visit ogforall.com. All these worksheets I had today are found in the workbook store.